Trump's new sanctions could cripple Russia, and the decision rests entirely in his hands. In a precedent strike, Ukraine makes history. A sea drone takes down a Russian fighter jet. Zelensky slams Putin's PR stunt. Ceasefire demands 30 days or nothing. The world is teetering. Will this be the breaking point? The U.S. is gearing up for a new wave of economic warfare, banking, energy, and resources all aimed squarely at Russia. Sources say a massive sanctions package is in the works. Gazprom and other Russian giants are in the crosshairs. But the final call, it rests with President Donald Trump. Despite his deep sympathy for Moscow, Trump's frustration with Vladimir Putin's refusal to halt the war on Ukraine has reached a boiling point that a source inside the National Security Council says a set of punitive actions is on the table. But Trump's approval is the deciding factor. It's his call and his alone. The U.S. National Security Council is trying to coordinate some more punitive actions against Russia. This will have to be signed off by Trump. Kurt Volker, former U.S. envoy to NATO, says this is all part of a hardening stance against Russia. Trump has been bending over backwards to give Putin every opportunity to say, okay, we're going to have a ceasefire and an end to the war, and Putin keeps rejecting him. This is the next phase of putting some pressure on Russia. Trump, who's tried to offer Putin an out for months, is now aligning with Ukraine and pushing for an immediate ceasefire. And Putin, he claims, is the only outlier. But Trump's patience is thinning. Secondary sanctions targeting Russia's oil deals with countries like India and China could be next. And if Trump pulls the trigger, it'll cripple Moscow's war machine. Hard currency that keeps Russia's military running could suddenly be out of reach. The question now, will Putin blink? Or will Trump's strategy push the world closer to a breaking point? Only time and Trump will tell. Meanwhile, the Kremlin demands a clear Ukrainian response to its proposed May 8th to 10th ceasefire failure. Aim of the Easter ceasefire proposed by Russia. Likewise, the current initiative to proclaim a ceasefire for the festive days during the Victory Day celebrations on May 8th, 9, and 10. For us, it is a test of Kiev's readiness to seek the way for lasting and stable peace between Russia and Ukraine. The reaction of Ukraine's authorities to Russia's incentive to introduce a ceasefire is a test of Ukraine's readiness for peace. And, of course, we will be waiting not for an ambiguous response, but for definite statements and, moreover, actions focused on de-escalation of the conflict during the festive days. The unpreparedness of the Kiev regime to directly respond to the offer put forward by Russia clearly shows that neo-Nazism is the ideological foundation of the present Kiev's regime. The victory over the Nazi Germany, the Brown Plague, and Nazism is apparently not a reason for them to celebrate, inviting the followers of the neo-Nazi elements who are openly glorifying the neo-Nazis in their country is not just a show of disrespect to the British veterans who have sacrificed their lives during. World War II. Speaking in Russian, this is a sacrilege, a major development. Ukraine's military intelligence claims to have destroyed a Russian Su-30 fighter jet using a sea drone, mocking what it calls the world's first downing of a combat aircraft by a naval drone. The unprecedented strike reportedly took place on May 2nd near the Russian port of No Proceeds in the Black Sea. A Megara-C drone operated by Hugh with Special Group 13 unit allegedly hit the $50 million Su-30 midair, causing it to crash into the sea, while Ukraine released video footage of the operation. Independent confirmation of the incident is still pending. This is the world's first destruction of a combat aircraft by a naval drone. Meanwhile, the United States has approved a $310.5 million package to support F-16 training and sustainment for Ukraine. The deal, part of the U.S. Foreign Military Sales Program, includes aircraft upgrades, spare parts, ground handling equipment, personnel training, and both classified and non-classified software support. This approval comes just days after Ukraine and the U.S. signed a landmark agreement strongly backed by President Donald Trump, granting the U.S. preferential access to Ukraine's mineral resources and promising investment in the country's post-war reconstruction. The Pentagon emphasized that the support aims to strengthen Ukraine's air defense capabilities as the war with Russia grinds on. Congress has been formally notified of the proposed sale. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has slammed Russia's proposed ceasefire in May as a theatrical production, accusing Putin of staging a PR stunt to escape global isolation. He warned that Kyiv cannot guarantee the safety of foreign leaders attending Moscow's Victory Day parade, calling the three-day pause unserious. It is impossible to build any plan for the next steps to end the war in 2 or 3 days, and so it just doesn't look very serious. It's more of a theatrical production on his part. No one is going to help Putin play this in order to give him a soft atmosphere of escape from isolation on May 9th, and to make everyone feel comfortable and safe. Those leaders, friends, or partners of Putin will come to Kremlin Square. We are either at war or Putin is showing that he is ready for a ceasefire. Zelensky insists on a full 30-day ceasefire, dismissing Russia's offer as a political smokescreen. Meanwhile, Moscow claims Kyiv previously violated a U.S. brokered truce and warns any shortfalls will only serve to rearm Ukraine. Meanwhile, at the Vatican, President Zelensky called his meeting with Donald Trump their best, yet discussing air defense and sanctions. Both leaders agreed a 30-day ceasefire is key to ending the war. Zelensky has urged Ukraine to fast-track the development of its own ballistic missile systems, calling long-range capabilities vital for national security. His remarks follow a military briefing on supplies, staffing, and Ukraine's ongoing missile production efforts. Bullet delivery. The task is to accelerate the creation of our Ukrainian ballistic systems as much as possible. Our long-range capabilities are a clear and effective guarantee of Ukraine's security. That I also held a meeting today regarding the development of our military aviation, focusing primarily on Ukrainian F-16s, the aircraft that are already in Ukraine, the aircraft that will arrive in Ukraine shortly. The long-term supply plans. Personnel decisions were made to strengthen the management of military aviation. We continue to operate in the territory of the Kursk and Belgorod regions. We are defending our positions and will act accordingly, both on the front lines and in our actions on Russian territory. The war must be felt where it came from, with tensions high. Neither side is backing down, and the battlefield remains the loudest voice in these stalled peace efforts.